Watch this clip of Sam Altman having a very strange reaction to an interviewer who's pretty friendly to big tech.
I think even you would acknowledge you have an incredible amount of power at this moment in time. Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't.
I think it kind of sucks.
Sam Altman built his reputation as the face of responsible AI, but that image started cracking the moment OpenAI struck a deal with the Pentagon. Within hours, outrage exploded online. Thousands began canceling ChatGPT, protests appeared outside OpenAI's office, and a rival AI suddenly shot to the top of the app charts. Now, Altman is scrambling to control the damage.
But Anthropic's response was that the revised language made virtually no progress on preventing Claude's use for mass surveillance, with legalese allowing those safeguards to be disregarded at will.
The controversy actually started with a decision made by one of OpenAI's biggest competitors. In late February 2026, the AI company Anthropic publicly refused a request from the United States Department of Defense to use its AI systems for certain military operations.
That we are okay with all use cases, basically 98 or 99% of the use cases they want to do, except for two that we're concerned about. One is domestic mass surveillance.
According to the company, the request crossed several red lines. They said their AI would not be used for mass surveillance of civilians or for autonomous weapons that could operate without direct human control. For Anthropic, those were non-negotiable boundaries.
President Trump posted from the White House account on X, calling Anthropic left-wing nutjobs, making a disastrous mistake trying to strong-arm the Department of War. Then he said, "I am directing every federal agency to immediately cease all use of Anthropic's technology. We don't need it. We don't want it."
The refusal didn't sit well in Washington. Soon after, the government moved to block federal agencies from using Anthropic's AI, including its flagship chatbot Claude, labeling the company a potential supply chain risk.
Things like cyber, combat support operations, various things like this. And, the reason we've done this is, I believe that we have to defend our country. I believe we have to defend our country from autocratic adversaries like China and like Russia. And so we've been very lean forward. We have a substantial.
But what happened next is what really set the internet on fire.
Hours after Trump banned Anthropic, Sam Altman posted on X, "Tonight, we reached an agreement with the Department of War to deploy our models in their classified network."
And just one day after that controversy, Sam Altman made a move that stunned the tech world. On February 27th, the OpenAI CEO announced a new partnership with the United States Department of Defense, allowing OpenAI's AI models to operate on classified government networks. Altman tried to reassure the public immediately. In a long thread on X, he claimed the Pentagon had agreed to OpenAI's safety principles. According to him, the deal specifically prohibited mass surveillance and the use of AI for autonomous weapons without human oversight.
The technology is advancing so fast that it's out of step with the law.
But critics quickly noticed something strange in the wording. Buried inside the agreement was a clause that allowed the AI to be used for all lawful purposes. On paper, that sounds harmless, but in reality, it opened the door to a huge loophole. If the government legally authorized certain surveillance programs, OpenAI's AI systems could still be used to power them.
This is not the future we were promised. How about that for a tagline?
Tech analysts and privacy advocates immediately started calling this out online. Community notes began appearing under Altman's posts, arguing that the safeguard he described didn't actually block surveillance at all, but just shifted the definition to whatever the government considered legal. The reaction online was immediate and brutal. Within hours of the announcement, criticism of Sam Altman and OpenAI started spreading across forums, social media, and tech communities, with users calling the move a betrayal of the AI safety principles the company had promoted for years.
One of the most impactful things you can do today to fight ICE and stand up to Trump is to cancel your ChatGPT account.
Many users began encouraging others to cancel their subscriptions to ChatGPT. The phrase "cancel ChatGPT" started trending, and screenshots of people deleting the app began circulating widely online. At the same time, a surprising winner started emerging. The rival AI chatbot Claude from Anthropic suddenly surged in popularity, and within days, the app jumped from deep in the rankings to becoming the #1 free download on the App Store in several regions. Backlash didn't stay online either. Photos began circulating showing sidewalk chalk messages outside OpenAI's headquarters criticizing the company's military partnership. A few tech influencers and public figures even publicly announced that they were switching from ChatGPT to Claude. For OpenAI, the message from users was becoming clear. People weren't just angry, they were leaving. As the backlash kept growing, Sam Altman suddenly shifted into damage control mode. The OpenAI CEO began responding directly to critics on X, even hosting an open AMA to calm the situation. During the discussion, Altman admitted the deal with the United States Department of Defense may have been rushed. He said the company underestimated how people would react and described the backlash as really painful for the team inside OpenAI. Soon after, Altman announced that the contract language would be amended. The updated version promised clearer restrictions on surveillance and claimed OpenAI models would not be used to target US persons without strict government oversight. The goal, according to Altman, was to make it crystal clear that OpenAI wasn't building tools for domestic spying. But critics weren't convinced. Policy experts pointed out that the new wording still left plenty of gray areas. For example, the restriction applied specifically to US persons, which raised questions about how the AI could be used on immigrants, foreign nationals, or people outside of the country. To many observers, the update felt less like a real safeguard and more like a rushed attempt to calm an internet firestorm that was already spiraling out of control. Behind all the controversy, there's a much bigger reason why OpenAI may have taken the deal in the first place: money.
Commentary from experts in government procurement that said, essentially, look, until we see the entire contract, it's just very difficult for us to take at face value the idea that this is the only relevant language here.
Despite the massive popularity of ChatGPT, running advanced AI systems is unbelievably expensive. Training models, maintaining huge data centers, and powering millions of daily users cost billions every year. Analysts estimate that OpenAI could burn through more than $100 billion by the end of the decade if spending continues at the current pace. And the revenue situation isn't as strong as it might seem. Even though hundreds of millions of people use ChatGPT, only a small percentage actually pay for the premium subscription. That means the majority of users generate computing costs without directly bringing in revenue.
They are essentially a startup company that does not make anywhere near enough money to build out all of the required stuff that it wants to build out.
But at the same time, OpenAI has been pushing massive infrastructure projects tied to the proposed Stargate data center network with partners like Oracle Corporation and SoftBank. But those projects have reportedly faced delays and internal disagreements between partners. All of this creates a serious financial squeeze. So when a massive government contract from the United States Department of Defense appeared, many analysts believe OpenAI saw it as something more than a partnership. They saw it as a financial lifeline. The partnership with the United States Department of Defense has become a symbol of that fear. Meanwhile, the rise of competitors like Anthropic and its chatbot Claude shows how quickly public trust can shift in the AI world. What happens next could shape the future of the entire industry. Because if users really start abandoning ChatGPT in large numbers, it would send a message every tech company understands. And if this boycott keeps growing, it could seriously change how AI companies operate. So subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the biggest AI stories.